Hello everybody and welcome to the introduction video for another template. This template is 2.5D platformer, now with gun and some mouse control, and as you can expect, this template is based on 2.5D platformer template that is already in the website, that it already has its own introduction video, so I will not go too deep to the explanation of everything and how it's work, where it is, and how to import, export, whatever. I will just go through what's added, what's changed, and how you can implement it to your project, or how can you start your project from this template. So what you can see here is the blend file when you first open it. First it will show you some chunk of code, and if you are not coders, don't read it, don't look at it, it may be scary, but don't worry, you don't have to. Just go directly to your more familiar view of the Blender, and here is the player. You should already know him, just a capsule. I added just some red parts that should be like eyes, whatever. This is how you can tell which direction he facing, so you know if he facing forward or backward, to right or to left, sorry. Well, and you can already, as in all another templates, just hit P and go to player mode, and you can see our player has a gun and can shoot with left mouse button. Mouse is controlling this aiming cross. You can see by the eyes of the character that he's turning to right, to left, whether the cross is. Change in movement is only that you can use arrow keys as previously, but now I added option that you can use A, W and D as well. Because I found it more comfortable for shooting with mouse and keyboard at the same time. But you of course don't have to use this mouse control, and it's everything controlled again as in another templates with properties. So some properties are on the player. They are still the same, so speed, jumping, friction, moving, camera following, everything it's same. I just add turn property, and if you try it, you can find that it actually don't do anything, and it's because it's override with the gun properties. So if I select the gun itself, it has some properties itself. Oh, well, the bullet one is string, which is the exact name of the bullet object. So what will be added to the tip of the gun, so what you will shoot, it has to be in another layer. So if I saw this another layer, zoom in, I have just this square, so you can replace it with whatever bullet you want, 2D, 3D, whatever, but you can see that this square already has some script on it, and it's only moving this bullet. It don't have to be really a script. You can add actuator with motion, simple motion, location, whatever, or speed, force, it doesn't matter, but this bullet has to move on its own. It don't get initial any movement from the gun itself, but the gun has a property bullet speed that is passed to the bullet. So if the bullet have property speed, if not, nothing will happen. All will be moved as you set it here. So if I set here motion and y-axis some motion, it will be here hard coded that this bullet will move this speed. But I made a quick script where I use the same exact technique to move with the bullet, but with speed that is controlled with the property. And because I have this property, this gun can pass this bullet speed property to the bullet. I hope it's not too overcomplicated. It's just having the property in one place. It's still the same script, still the same movement, but now I can control everything with these properties and don't have to switch to this layer, select the bullet, change the speed, go back to this layer, try it if it's shooting fast, slow. Well, I can all change it right here. So if I can try it, some bullets firing. If I will decrease it, so I will have slow bullets for any reason. Why not? But probably you want this something very high, but not too high, so the bullet is actually visible, so you see that some bullet is spawning to the scene. Well, another property is cadence. It's just time between two bullets. So if this time is big, like nearly a second, so you just firing 1, 2, 3 slowly. But if you decrease this time, so very small number, this is in the seconds, you can see it's nearly like laser or automatic gun. And if it's 0, it is every frame is added new bullet. And time, don't change it. It's internal timer property, so everything in the gun works regarding to the time of the scene itself. So you can change it, why not, but you will just offset the time to some value. But this property, don't change the name, don't change the type, don't change anything. And here it is, the mouse control that we skipped. It's just Boolean controller, because as default you controlling with the mouse the aiming cursor, and with the left mouse button you are shooting, and it's aiming the gun, it's turning the player. And if I turn this off, the left mouse button and mouse overall don't do anything. So you still control your character with AWD or the cursor arrows, and shooting is done with spacebar. And here comes the property turning. So you can see, oh, this wasn't really good example. You can see that I can go backwards, I can go to left, but still shooting to the right, because my character facing to the right, so he always face to the right. And if I want to change it, so when I am going to the left, I want also character going to the left, it's in the character, the new property turn. So if it's true, the character can turn. So if he goes to the right, he face to the right side. If he goes to left, he face to the left side. And it's actually everything that is added, nothing more, nothing less. Everything should work as you can expect. Just recognize that everything that was previously in the 2.5D platformer template is green, because it's grouped, and you can just export it anywhere as group, so as one prefab. The gun itself isn't in this group, because I just wanted to be more flexible, so you can change more things, replace the mesh. Of course you want to replace the mesh, but you probably want the point of spawning the bullets not be on the tip of the gun, but in the center of the not scene, but at 0 point and y-axis, because this it's 2.5D, so it's not exactly 2D and not exactly 3D, but the models are 3D. So if there would be some enemy in front of him, the gun will shoot on the side. It's not exactly in the middle. So you can leave the gun on the side, so it's probably visible in from the camera all the time, but the shooting point, this if you go to the outliner, here is gun rotation, is parent of the gun object, with which you can change the mesh, change the object for whatever gun you want, and there is barrel tip, and this barrel tip is what's spawning the bullets. So if I want, for example, the location, it's 0 because it's parented, whatever, I can move it in y-axis, and I believe it's 0.6 to exact center, and the all functionality is still the same. I will just activate the mouse control again, but the bullets are actually not spawned from the tip of the gun, but now the bullets are in center of the scene, and it's in the 2D plane of X and Z and not in the Y direction in any way, so they can actually hit the enemies. And make sure you always, if you import it somewhere, make sure you have this gun rotation, because this gun only control the tilt to up and down. So this tilting is handled by the object named gun, but the gun rod, the gun rotation, handle the switching between facing to the right and facing to the left. So this switch isn't actually smooth rotation, it's just changing the place in the rotation in one frame, and it's done in the parent object, so it's done in the gun rotation empty. So you can pick your gun, move it, for example, some place forward, and if everything works as I expect, you can see the rotation of the gun is on the object of the gun, but if I switch, it's moved to the other side with the player. So you can make nice effect with hand of the player, so you can always want this gun rotation in same place as the player, but the player can have hand that is extended from the player in x-axis, so we want the gun to be in the end of the hand and not in the center of the player. I hope it makes sense, because it make for me when I made this. And it's pretty much everything. You can experiment with these values, with different cadence, pick different bullets, so not just square, or just square with some texture nice, or some whatever object. You can shoot monkeys, whatever, but make sure that the bullet itself is moving. The gun just will pass the speed property, not any movement, not any scripts, not any actuators. And so this is the end for everybody that just wants to use this template. It's not coder, and I thank you for watching. Till the next time, bye. But for everybody that wants to dive into the script itself, what is changed and what they can handle, the part starts right now. So when you come back, what this file looks like when you open it, there is separate window, but it's still the same instance of Blender. It's not a new instance of Blender, it's just a new window. Just quick tip: if you want new window like this in Blender, hover over the corner of the window, and with shift and left clicking you separate this window, and you have like new instance of Blender, but with one instance of Blender. Again, I hope it makes sense. It's good, for example, for 2 monitors, or just I like external text editor, so I will make it it's this way. But whatever. In the main, pretty much no change from the previous, just the turning. So it's right here. So if the player turn, so this is addressing the property, of course, as previously, and just k events and right, and all k events that was for right, left and jump, I don't see it here, has the OR, so you can have some alternative jump, so alternative right or alternative left, and all of these are set here in lines 18 to 24. So you can have some case for left, you can see it's left arrow key, right arrow key and up arrow key, as was in default in 12.5D template, and now they have alternatives in A key, D key and W key. So if you want to change the controls, you do it right here. Sorry. So this is the turning, and you can see it's not actually turn the player slowly or smoothly, it's just set the location on predefined value. If it's to the right, it's the default value of 0, 0, 0 rotation, and if it's to the left, it's the same, but in the z-axis it's not exactly, but it's pretty much pi. So in radians, 180 degrees. Everything else is the same. Moving platform is still exactly same, nothing was changed. Here is the bullet script, so you can see this is not exactly something complicated. It's just find the object, the bullet, and set his linear velocity to its property speed in x direction. So, but be aware that if you are setting linear velocity, the object itself has to be at least dynamic or rigid bodies or something that actually reacts to physics forces and can have some velocity. And here is the rest of the script, the gun control. It's again just taking bunch default values from properties, sucking these properties to the script, and these 3 lines just keeping the gun rotation object. This empty. This empty isn't parented to the player object. This empty keep its world position and world orientation according to the player through these 3 lines of code, because if it would be parented to the player and he will look to the other side, to the left side, the gun will be behind the player because it will be always on his right side. If it's your desired behavior, feel free to just comment these 3 lines I hope it will work, and parent this gun rotation to the player, control P object. Now so it will be visible. I place the gun again to the pretty much center, and you can see the gun is on the right side, so it's visible, but because it's parented and the player will turn, the gun is behind. So if this is what you want, this is how you do it. So just parent it, so it not this, the gun rotation object, and comment these 3 lines or delete them, whatever, but without parenting these 3 lines, keeping the gun rotation where it is according to player. And whatever is here, this is finding these 5 lines. Find the point in 3D space according to mouse position. So it's part of the math-utils geometry, so make sure that here is math-utils for it imported, and where it was here, and it can calculate intersect line and plane, and the line is, for whatever reason, don't express in vector but in 2 points, so it's 2 points ray source and ray target from mouse sensor. So the gun actually has a mouse sensor here, mouse over. I believe it would work for any mouse sensor, just whatever is here, but it needs the mouse to get the 2 points. It's actually projected, I believe, from camera to some point that it's 1 unit vector, but whatever is the math behind it, these are 2 points on the ray from camera to wherever the cursor is, and the plane itself is defined with some point on the plane and normal of the plane. Again, don't exactly know why, but it works good. So I just make the plane that is perpendicular to the camera, so XZ plane, and XZ plane is in the center, so 1 point on the plane is exactly the center of the scene, and the normal is in positive Y axis. I believe that positive and negative really doesn't matter, because the intersect point will be in the same place, because this intersection that is a product of this math-utils geometry intersect line plane, this intersection is in word space, so it's not local to any of these variables. And if this intersection exists, it should, because this plane, because it's defined just point and normal, is actually infinite, so it's infinite XZ plane. So if this intersection exists, I placed the intersection, the gun aim object to this intersection. The gun aim object is hidden here. It's this cross. It's nothing more than just object shape to the cross and set to non-collision, so it don't affect the scene anyhow. And in this point I am calculating the vector from the player or from the player to this cross, and according to this vector I am first defining if the player facing to the right or if the player facing to the left, just based on the x value of this vector. So if the x is more than 0, so I am in the mouse in the right side of the player, so the player looks to the right side. Again, vice versa with else. If it's lower than 0, it's face to the left. And it's exactly the same, setting the hard value of 0, 0 pi and 0, 0, 0 to the local orientation. It has to be local orientation because any other orientation don't accept the vectors or values. Any other orientation wants only transformation matrices, and I really don't want to write here the orientation matrix. And here I am aiming the gun, so the tilt in the y direction. So again, calculating the angle, it's nothing more than tangent of this vector, and apply again local orientation, so I can apply the vector, and in y, around the y axis, I am rotating the gun to this angle. Again, just setting this angle, not exactly linear interpolation, anything like this, no smooth movement, just setting the angle. And the shooting itself is divided to shooting with the mouse, or if the mouse sensor isn't active, the shooting with space. But these 6 or 7 line of codes is the same with the different K. So here is K event as mouse event, here is K event as keyboard event. Hold is same. I am not really sure why I am making it this way, but it's kind of clear to read this code. And if you just hold this left mouse or the space, whatever, and the time of the gun, so that it's the property I set, don't change it, it's run automatically through the game, is bigger than next time you can shoot. So in the scene, just add object bullet, whatever is named as in this property, place it to the barrel tip. This is this little empty, and here is the time, how many frames the bullet will stay in the scene, and it should probably be property as well, but whatever. If you want, you can just rewrite it here, or just make it 0, but I don't really recommend to make it 0. Probably the bullet will disappear when it hits something, but it's possible for the bullet to don't hit something, and the bullet will stay in the scene for infinite, and it will just consume your computing power. So this should be some number, but what number is absolutely about your decision. And here is the passing of the speed. So the bullet object should have some speed, or it will have after this line, but the speed can affect the speed of the bullet. If you make bullet that will have a hard-coded speed, whatever, it will work, but you can't control the speed here in the gun properties. And the next time will be increased with the cadence, so you can fire again only if the time will pass through the previous time of the fire plus the cadence of the gun. And it's everything. Clapping was there before as well. So as you can see, it's not commented very well or organized, so it may seem complicated, scary, whatever, but it's not that much. So you can actually modify it without too much breaking it. You can adding things, and as always this template is CC0 license, So it's actually, you are not obligated to anything. You can just share it as you want, modify it as you want, and but it would be nice if you at last recognize the source. And whatever, it's everything. I don't think anything else is needed as explanation. If you have any questions or even any suggestions for next templates, whatever, I am looking forward to your comments, to your feedback. Write me under this video, write me on my page, which is of course in the description of the video. And it's all. Thank you very much for watching, and till the next time, bye.